everybody, welcome back to School of Scarlett. Today I want to talk about scripting for manifestation. So this is a very powerful technique that you can use to manifest anything and everything that you want in your life. So I recently put out a video. I don't remember what it was about exactly. I think it was around alignment, my most recent video around manifestation. And I put out quite a few of those because I've been putting on a course called the Creator Code. And this course has many different ways to manifest. It has anything from the lower techniques that we learn about to some of the highest techniques and alignments that you can do in your life to manifest the life of your dreams. So if you're interested in that, check out my description. I am going to be doing this course once again, once we finish up with the first group of students. But I had mentioned in one of these videos scripting, and if anybody was interested in learning about scripting, I would make a video on it. So here is the video now. I'm going to go ahead and share with you some of the things around scripting. Scripting is not something that is really that hard at all. It's pretty easy if you like to write. If you're someone who likes to journal, who likes to even just write for fun, then you're going to really like scripting. So for me, I like to write. So it's something that I've always enjoyed doing. Even in my free time, I write, and I just actually finished up my a new book that I'm putting out. So I will be sharing that here with you here on this channel as well. But I just finished up another book, and in that book, everything was very factual. It's actually like a biography or little memoirs of times in my life. But the last part of the book is actually something that I just want to happen. And so that's what scripting is. It's essentially you're writing something that you want to happen in kind of this story form. And you really want to put your emotions into it. It's important to have your emotions into it. So how do you feel, as you're writing that? How are you going to feel as that character, as that person, having that thing? Write a story around it where you can actually visualize through your writing what it's like to be that. So one of the things that comes to mind as I'm putting together this video is, I think her name was Helene Hadsell, but I'm not really sure. If you know her name, comment down below. She was known as the contest queen. And I think there's even like a movie on it on Amazon. I'm not positive, but I'm almost sure that there's a movie on her. But a while back, I had some curiosities about her because she never lost a contest. So I went ahead and I looked her up on YouTube, and I wouldn't be surprised if she's already passed away. She was older when I looked her up, maybe 10 years ago. And there were some older videos of her explaining how she won these contests. And for the most part, she talks about how she entered writing contests, like essay contests, where she would have to write about how she was the perfect one to win that prize, or what she would do if she won that prize, or that trip to Hawaii, or that car, or whatever it was. And she talked about in that video that one of her things was that she really truly imagined herself on these trips, on these, whatever the prize was for that contest. She envisioned herself being the winner. She envisioned herself truly being on that trip and what it would be like. And when she would write the essays, she would write them in a way where it was very believable. She would talk about how she was strolling down the street, or how if she was in Hawaii, she would go see the luau, and then she would go to the beach, and she would bring her family, and what it would be like, and how people would be feeling. And so there was a whole component to it of her scripting without her even really knowing it. And I think that's really the way that it naturally happens. For me personally, there's not really a specific technique to scripting. If you feel like writing about the thing that you want, go ahead and begin writing. And what you're going to see is that it's almost like an automatic writing process. As you start writing about those things that truly give you joy and those things that you truly want for your life, it's like it comes alive by itself. The feelings around it begin to be written down. The imagination about how you're going to do it, how it's going to be, what it's going to feel like, look like, all of those things will begin to just come onto that page as you're writing very, naturally. It's almost like automatic writing. So writing really opens up that portal where you're kind of almost channeling, in a sense, with your highest self. And you're aligning to your highest self. And so as you're doing that, the process of alignment's already just happening naturally, because writing is one of those things almost like art, like painting or even dancing, you know, like where you're dancing kind of intuitive dancing or, you know, interpretive dancing, that sort of thing. It's like it just comes together, you know, those movements, the right things happen. So as you're writing, allow yourself to be taken by that and just be creative with it. There's no right or wrong way to do it. And the nice thing about writing is that you're not being judged for it. When you're writing, it's really just your own. That journal, that whatever piece of paper that you're writing on is totally yours. You don't have to share it with anybody anyway. So you can write about anything, any of those, you know, things that you want to happen in your life. Let them come out onto that page. As you're writing, no one is judging that. It's truly like this very unconditional, neutral space for you to feel free to share what it is that you want. And as you do that, you begin to script it, essentially. That's what it really is. So, you know, let's say that you envision yourself, you know, purchasing a home one day. What is that going to be like? How are you going to feel, you know, when you're, you know, got the keys in your hand and you walk in? How are you going to decorate your house? You know, write about that. And the other thing that Helene Hadsell did is that she went ahead and, like, if she was you know, in entering a contest for a trip, let's say that it was overseas and she needed certain vaccines or she needed, you know, a passport or something, she would already know in her mind that she was going to have that trip. And so there was no doubt in there. And so she would go ahead and get her passport. She would go ahead and get the, you know, bags packed, get the clothing she would need for that trip. And so when we're scripting or we're manifesting anything in any kind of way, we really can't have any doubts about it. You know, even with prayer, if you're, you know, seeing this as prayer, you know, you're asking for those things that you want. Essentially, there's no doubt there. It's like you've placed an order and it's coming. So when we place an order, let's say on Amazon or something like that, we place the order and we forget about it. We trust that it will show up in 2 days or, you know, within that week or whatever it happens to be. We don't call Amazon up every, you know, second and asking them, is it really going to come? Are you sure? Are y'all really going to deliver it? We don't continually ask and doubt ourselves about it. And same thing when we place an order at a restaurant. You know, we place our order with the waitress and she goes back and they start working on that food. We're not doubting and asking the waitress, like, are you guys really going to bring us that food? Is it true? You know, we have total clarity and alignment in knowing that whatever it is that we're asking for, we will receive. So ask and you will receive. And that's very, very true. We have to truly believe that. If we're asking and doubting, asking and asking and asking, that's not the way things work. So once you script that and you have everything how you want in that writing process in your journal, on that piece of paper or whatever, put it away. Believe that it is so and leave it. And so I shared recently in that video about alignment that I had recently been asked about a trip. You know, my husband was asking about a trip that he was wanting to take, and, you know, it was to a certain location that I had, you know, I'm okay with going to, but I had almost forgotten about it. And he had asked me about it, you know, did I want to go there? And I'm like, yeah, I want to go. And then, you know, I kind of let it go because I wasn't that, you know, concerned about it. And then he asked again about it. And then, you know, he wanted to actually plan the dates and this and that. And then he came up with some activities and stuff that we would do there. And that's when I felt like, whoa, like this is like deja vu. At some point I had thought about this trip and I had planned those activities and I had seen myself there. Well, the other day I was just looking through some journals, looking for some stuff, and I opened a journal up and it has like the vacations that I had planned to have this year. And they were just things that I had scripted. They weren't like plans or anything like that. And when I looked at it, there was that trip, and there were those activities, and I had totally forgotten that at one point I had really wanted to go there, and I scripted it so much so that I even put the activities in there that I would do there and how it would be. And now it was happening that I was being invited to this trip by my husband, and he had actually planned those activities. So I want to share that here with you today, and I think that's all I want to share on scripting. But thank you so much for being here today. If you have any questions, comment down below. I love you all, and I will catch you on our next video.